What's happening, guys? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day out. Hello from Tuscany. So, been hooking up some fried eggs for my love, and then I got to shooting some vids, and I'm going to edit these together now. This is, where's the camera? Going to cover some of the stuff that I've seen in my experiments, and I'm going to do much more detailed vids on some stuff, but here we're going into the intricacies of the command center, which is really cool, and some things have changed, so I will show you what I'm finding. We're going to hit a little bit on the looper. Now, Aaron Short later on today is going to go through what he's found on the looper, and we can compare notes and see what's what. There's some interesting stuff, so watch it to the end if you can. Like and subscribe, because once you hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, you can do these direct broadcasts, which is a lot better and a lot faster. So if somebody has a question, you can say, boom, here's an answer to it, and not have to go through all the editing and upload and stuff like that, which is much higher in bandwidth. So would really help. Anyway, stay tuned. Coming up. Okie dokie. Good morning, folks. Hope everybody's well out there. I'll try not to smash this camera around. So, testing this out with a little headphone mic, because I'm hoping that will pick up better as my wife is cranking out a series on Netflix downstairs. But let's get into this thing. So we're talking about the command center. And yesterday, I built up this lovely thing to try commanding it all. So I've basically run ahead, and you don't want to do that. Breathe, take it easy, have a coffee or have a chamomile. That'll probably be out better. But the new command center has this thing which has been shown on the pod, where you can take the stomp screen. There are different screens. So if you hit mode, when you're in a regular preset, you can come up with snapshots and stomps and stuff. These are all snapshots. Now, if you remember to go to command center, global settings, let's do that first. Global settings, you have your foot switches. Go down there to foot switches, and you've got 8 snapshots as a preset mode select. You can change that to whatever you want. So 8 presets, preset stomp, stomp presets, blah, blah, blah. Second button over. And I do all this stuff manually on the Helix, because when I'm having trouble with something, I don't want to have to get into HXEdit. I just, boom, jump in here and go. Yeah, it really helps. So let's make that preset snap. Change view. There you have presets and snap. So this is obvious stuff. I think everybody knows that. But it's good to recap, because I would really suggest when you're doing this to go in here, once again, change it to something that's so obvious, like 8 snapshots, and leave it there. Because what you'll get is a good reference point, and then when you hit mode, you come into the new Stomp Screen, and this is really cool. You switch to a new preset. There I've added 1 button. Totally blank. So this is now where your stomps were. And it works exactly the same as before, with maybe a few tiny caveats. So we're going to go over here and build a looper. So far I've been doing just a 6 one, which I dig. Let's try it. Boom. Now, back in the day, 2 days ago, what you'd do is hit bypass here, and you'd have to assign the pedal. That is no longer the case, or so it seems. What you do to assign the pedal is simply hold down a switch and click assign. Boom. And now you're back to your good old-fashioned 6-switch looper. Hit that, and you go into the other mode for the looper. Cool. But what we can do is we now have a mix. So you can put all of these new commands, and let's get into the command center now. Instant commands, here are your switches, and these map directly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you don't want to use the up and down, which is the up and down. What you want to do is select, I don't know, a different one. And you don't do it by clicking here, you move over manually. Now you've got commands here on the first one. Swing all the way over. Notice there, looper. You've also got snapshots, you can navigate them, you can set up buttons to do it, and you can zip around. Presets, you can navigate within presets within this Helix. Hotkeys, which are always good. Go through all these things. If you've never seen them, slow down, take your time, do your stuff. So, back to looper. Behaviors are very much a thing that we discuss here when it comes to MIDI controllers. Tap, double tap, hold, those are behaviors. And we now have some of that here. So if you remember the regular looper, you would have double tap, you would have hold down to clear and all that. You still have access to all that if you do it normally, but this will pick out individual little commands. So you can change the behavior to tap, press release, or press hold. Now, go through the release notes. In this case, I think hold, you have to hold it down for seconds, an amount of time that you have to do it. Press is instant. But take your time and play with these things, because as with MIDI, you need to get used to it. And in MIDI, you can actually adjust the amount of time, but here it's the same thing. And here you have play, stop, press, record, all these different little commands for the looper. So you can combine some of them, you can lift overdubs, you can do all kinds of stuff. But let's just keep it so simple. We're going to do record, boom. No action on hold. You can change that, but say you put overdub here. Holding it down then would go into overdub. Going in record, we'll just leave it as record. Now, resist the urge to customize. There you can change the color, you can put in names, but if you leave it blank, the default is to come up with these spiffy little icons. The record icon, which works, yeah? So, stop it. Hit that, and it's recording. It gives you back a visual clue. If you change that to something else, you can type in a name or something, you lose that visual cue. So, not so good. Hit the hamburger again. Let's go. Command Center. So now, to get back and forth and check this stuff, you can view. You've got to go back into Command Center, slide over. Let's do the next one. Boom, looper. Press release. We're going to do play. Cool. And for really have to watch what you're touching with these things. So, press and hold, play, and stop. All kinds of combinations, try them out, because this gives you a lot of options to really just mess with the thing and see what's going on. Boom. So now we have play. Hold it down, and it stops, which should do anyway. Stop. Play. Stop. Hold it in. Right. Okay. Back at it. So, I'm going to strike some strings here and test this thing now. Tried it before and got into a big blurble. So, stick your guitar in and test it. record, play. Now, if you've ever been dealing with your mother on the phone, God rest mine, and you're trying to, navigate on a computer and you're saying, no, double click it, and she's like, click, click. You know the frustration. Well, that's the case here as well. You want to figure out what makes a double click, what makes a click, what makes a hold, or to drive you nuts. Hold in, it stops. So this is a dual action. Go back to record. To clear, there is no clear. This is something we've discussed a lot. Let's hit play. Why is it doing that? Now, see that? That's working fine. If I go and hit re-record over it again, stop doing that. It's not doing it because it needs to overdub. Check that out. Okay, you're going to want to experiment with this stuff. Hold this in and hit stop. Then you can hit record. Hit play. So remember that. The functionality here changes when you start splitting this up. This is something you will come across in Midi. It's going to be different from the tried and true Line 6 designed one, which makes a lot of sense. And this makes sense because you get used to that. You go in. If you're used to the one button and you like it, coming back to this is always a pain. So have patience with yourselves while you're doing this stuff. Remember, you're going to want to test these out and see what works for you. The super cool part about this is, down on the bottom row, we can go back in, set up a whole bunch of different gizmos. Totally by chance here. Notice that thing there? Oh, that's the meter. That's cool. I had no idea that was there. Wicked stuff. Reverb, etc. Okay, two things. You can now come in here and hold down the assign as usual, and it works. Hold down the assign for that, and it works. Everything else is kind of pretty much the same. No big deals. Simply get used to it, but there you have your regular stomps. You can also stick in here whatever you want. Say you're doing a set and you want to change a preset. You can put a very specific preset right there. And it doesn't have to be contiguous with this one where you're navigating. You could say, okay, I want to jump to a totally different preset in a totally different area, and boom, you can go there. So that could be your next song if you really want it like that. There's a billion and one things you could do. You could call up a specific snapshot that you're going to go to and set next snapshots here, so never leave the screen. Navigate around, but if you have one favorite, you can go bam, go take me to my favorite snapshot, and it works. So a lot of cool stuff here. I would do a much more exhaustive one. Last night when I was messing with this, I had this set up to do overdub in, out, record back, a play boost, which was awesome. Here, I take the volume all the way up to 0. Normally, I drop it 6. So as I'm strumming, it's coming through loud and it goes into the background. If you want to bring that up, boost. stomp down here, this actually controlled, stop doing that. The stomp down would send a MIDI command all the way over to my little HX stomp, and it would run up and down through the commands on there. So I could use this thing, the Helix LT, as a big drive-in bed, and if I wanted another special amp over in my stomp, I could join the two of them together. So 3 DSP super power, and you could do anything with it. The Dynatrim, that was a preset that I did with the stomp to check out the dynamic switching, which brought up a tremolo if you hit too hard. You could do the revert, you know. Anyway, there's a video on that, go check it out. But this is the coolness of this thing, kind of like the Pod Go, where it was first demonstrated. Now we have it here, and it's super, super wow. So get excited, but slow down and take your time and mess with it. Aaron Short's going to be doing a thing on the looper, which may be more specific. I hope he goes into this kind of detail. If not, I will slow down and come up with a bit of a tutorial on each one of these. I expect half the other guys are all doing the same thing. So, you know, dig around, show everybody love, like and subscribe, because we all need it. This whole 1,000 subscriber thing is a right pain, and I would really love to be able to just stream this stuff directly on YouTube and save it. So help a guy out. Alrighty, have a good one, guys.